It's Thursday night, which means we're covering another case of our black and missing. This is 21-year-old Diamond Kimbrough. She was last seen on August 17th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She's believed to be suffering from some kind of cognitive impairment. Diamond was last seen driving a black 2014 Mazda 5 with North Carolina license plates reading BBV 7658. If you've seen Diamond or her car, call Winston-Salem Police at 336-773-7700. We share these stories every week in hopes that we'll have a positive outcome, bringing families back together. Tonight we meet a mom who was able to bring her daughter back home. Now she wants other parents to listen to what her family went through, hoping that they will learn something that will keep their children safe. Brandi Stallings' daughter, who we'll call Kay Simone to protect her identity, went to school in Baltimore, Maryland on March 8, 2017. But that afternoon, the 16-year-old didn't come home. Hours turned into days before Kay Simone was finally found. But what happened was alarming. Kay Simone was lured into sex trafficking and likely groomed by someone she met on a popular app. Brandi Stallings joins us tonight from Baltimore. Also with us, Natalie Wilson, the co-founder of the Black and Missing Foundation. Thank you all for joining me tonight.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Brandi, your daughter was in high school when she went missing. And now high school can be a tough time for anyone. She's also someone living with autism. Tell us more about what was happening in your daughter's life before she disappeared.
She's a normal kid. You know, she didn't have many friends, so just her socializing with other people just wasn't the greatest experience for her. So of course she used a lot of social media and different outlets to communicate with people, and regretfully this incident occurred as a result.
Now, you told us that you were very proactive in trying to keep Kay Simone safe. You took her devices away and made changes in your home. Tell us about those and what prompted you to take those steps.
Well, I do sporadic checks of electronic devices, and I saw that they were not being used properly. So her iPad, her laptop, and her cell phones were all confiscated. And then she had to use the desktop at home in order to do her schoolwork. But still, as a result, she managed to use other students' phones at work. I'm sorry, at school, where she was still able to communicate with strangers.
Now, you try to stay 2 steps ahead of your child, what most parents would try to do, but Kay Simone, like you said, still found a way to get access to devices and talk with people online. How did she do that, and what kinds of apps was she actually using?
I know one popular app she was using was Kick, and with this particular app, the conversations delete after 24 hours. So you don't know who your child has been talking to. You don't know the type of conversation that they've had. And again, it disappears after 24 hours. She readily used that app. She used Plenty of Fish. Anything she could possibly get her hands on, she pretty much took advantage of.
Now, walk us through that day when your daughter went missing. When did you know in your gut that you felt that something was wrong, and what were the first steps that you took?
When it started getting dark is when I really got alarmed, and I went up to our school, my husband and I, looking for her, and then another student said, oh, somebody in a gray truck picked her up. I then went to the police station, but of course, because she was on school property, they told me to go home and wait for school police. And school police came and said, oh no, this is for Baltimore City Police. So it took a little bit before someone actually handled my case. And then even at that time, I felt kind of dismissed. It was just like, oh, she just ran away. She'll be back. She's okay. And I was trying to express to them that my daughter's discernment is not like your discernment or mine. And I was just afraid of that with the autism, with her inability to detect danger. And I needed someone to help me.
You know, we've heard this sort of thing, you know, covering cases of black women and girls. How can you expound how authorities were so dismissive of your daughter's case?
I think because she was just a young black girl, and it was just, something that they just was like, oh, she's just out having fun. But I explained to them that my daughter is not a street kid. She's not savvy in Baltimore City. And I knew something was going on. We didn't have a fight. We didn't have an argument. But again, I was afraid of who she might have talked to during the time that she did have devices, or the times that she had access to devices.
When you weren't getting the support that you needed from law enforcement, which is pretty much par for the course in these types of cases, what did you do to seek out more help? Tell us what you did to get more attention to your daughter's case.
Not only did I get on social media, my pastor is close friends with Elijah Cummins. I started soliciting help from my religious community, from friends, people that I knew, in powerful positions. And as soon as that started happening, I started getting phone calls. I was able to get the press conference with Baltimore City Police.
Now, Kay Simone was found several days later, but it was discovered that she'd been lured away by someone, potentially several people involved in sex trafficking. Now, we obviously understand that that might have been, or must have been, a difficult and painful time for you and your family, so we won't ask you to go into details, but we will ask, how is your daughter doing today?
It's still a struggle. She's still in therapy. She attends Johns Hopkins, the Center for Child and Family Stress at Kennedy Krieger. They've been phenomenal. But she's not the same person. She definitely isn't the same person as she was when she left. We have to be very careful with what we say, how we interact, whether it's physical interaction, and that's with myself, my husband, and my son, because she's very jumpy. We have to be just very cautious of what she experienced, because I can't even fathom as an adult what she went through.
Natalie, I've got 90 seconds, but it's important that I ask you this question. It's also important to point out that Brandi did so many of the things that we talk about every week when giving tips to families, but her daughter was still lured away. What should we take away? What should parents take away from this whole entire case?
Well, as you mentioned, Brandi did everything right. She took her daughter's phone away, and her daughter went to school and used a friend's phone. So we ask parents to please be vigilant and to have those tough conversations with your children about sex trafficking, and the people that they're meeting online are not who they think they are.
All right, Brandi Stallings and Natalie Wilson from the Black and Missing Foundation, thank you both for joining me tonight. Brandi, thank you for sharing your story, and best wishes to your daughter. More Making the Case after this.